So we talked about some good mysteries, in my opinion.
You didn't ask me. I thought they were good too. Okay, go on.
And I was like, I don't want you cheating. She's like, I'm not going to cheat, but I don't believe you. I figure I could see you. Hey guys, welcome back.
Hi.
Or welcome if you're new here. My name is Shayna, and in my little corner of the internet, we talk about spooky history of all kinds. And if that sounds like something you're interested in, be sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell. That way you don't miss any of my future uploads. We upload on Wednesdays. But if podcasts are more your thing, I do have a podcast called Spooky History with Shayna Blake, and that is where the audio of all of my videos go. So I will for sure have a link down in the description for you. Now today is episode 3 of our series of mysteries with my mom. One of our subscribers, I don't know if you read the comment, but they said that they really liked the mysteries with my mom. They called it the MWMM.
Mysteries with my mom. Hashtag,
and so I thought that was kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of got this from Maddie, my cousin Maddie, Uncle James. Well, she's gonna listen to this. She's gonna be like, oh my goodness, please don't say my name. Sorry, Maddie. But anyways, she gave me she told me about a podcast, Murder with My Husband, and she...
Are they planning it?
No. They do really good. Her husband doesn't like true crime, and so she'll look up a certain case and then she'll read the case to him, and he'll
does he know
get his reaction? Well, yes. Yes, they sit there and talk about it. And so it's really cute. It's really cute. I actually really like that podcast. So I kind of got this idea from them because I hadn't seen it before. Cool. So thanks, Maddie.
Thanks, Maddie. I think she just misses us. She wants to see us more often.
Well, she listens to the podcast. She doesn't watch us.
But she can hear our voices.
She's a podcast listener.
She's still ours. Nobody can take her from us.
I have been enjoying this series so far. Have you?
Yes. It's fun.
It's been pretty fun. I figured you would like it. Okay.
I would like to do some shout outs.
Yes. Go on.
So, congratulations to all of the graduates. Well, they went through a lot. They had their homeschooling, COVID, and all that other. They've been through a lot. So, I want to give them shout outs. I just came from one. Congratulations, Thomas. In Dewey. Bulldogs. That was such an inspirational ceremony. It was beautiful. And then Cameron will be graduating from kindergarten.
Oh, so, my oldest, Cameron.
Yes. So we want to do a shout out for him. Congratulations. And then the last one is our Uncle Otto. He is turning 90 tomorrow. So we had a cake. Of course, I turned my numbers around, so the cake said 09. People who see him can't believe he's over 70.
He doesn't look it.
No, he doesn't act it either. But yeah, happy birthday. We love you. We love you all. Thank you. I wanted to do that.
You're welcome. Okay. So we talked about some good mysteries, in my opinion.
You didn't ask me. I thought they were good too. Okay, go on.
Okay. And I enjoy looking up what I'm going to talk about and then tell her about it, because most of these she hasn't heard of. But today's story, like I was telling you, is something that you don't really need to take notes on. So that's why if you're watching on YouTube, she's not going to have her phone out.
This is nerve-wracking because I don't know.
I told her yesterday, she's like, so what video are we doing? And I'm like, I'm not going to tell you that.
Which I forgot.
And I was like, I don't want you cheating. She's like, I'm not going to cheat, but I don't believe you. I could see you being bored one night and be like, what is that? Right before. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the story. You ready?
Okay.
She's so nervous. Okay. So I've been wanting to talk about this place since I started my channel, but I knew it would make a really long video, so I figured this would be perfect for this series. So today, drum roll, we're going to be talking about Skinwalker Ranch.
Skinwalker Ranch?
Yes.
I don't think I've ever heard of this.
Yes, you have.
Okay, I'll listen.
Remember that show? It's a show, and I think it's on Hulu, and we started watching it, and it's about this, I don't know if he's like a scientist or something, but he goes to this ranch because it's known for having weird activity on it, and this millionaire owns it, and they're doing all sorts of tests and stuff, and we first watched it, and they're making it look more like a reality show instead of telling us about what you found. You know what I mean? So we kind of quit watching it. Once you hear some of these stories, I'm sure you'll be like, Okay, it's starting to come back to me.
Okie dokie. I'm ready.
Let's jump into the websites that I got this info from, and then we will jump into the story. And I'll have all of these websites linked down below. History.co.uk, Curse of the Skinwalker Ranch, everything you should know about Skinwalker Ranch before watching the documentaries. Why Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch Don't Stay on Skinwalker Ranch by denofgeek.com, and how Skinwalker Ranch became a hotbed of paranormal activity.
Did it just say, how did Skinwalker Ranch not stay on Skinwalker? That's just gross.
No, it says... It says why the secrets of Skinwalker Ranch don't stay on Skinwalker Ranch. Kind of like the opposite of what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Doesn't stay on.
Well, you know what a skinwalker is, right?
No, not really.
Really?
Yeah, I think I saw one episode about
Aunt
a skinwalker.
Trish would be so disappointed in you.
Oh, so it's Indian.
Mm-hmm. Indian related.
Okay. So I should love the hints she gives me.
Okay.
Figure it out, Mom.
I figured you already knew.
I've heard one thing, but I don't remember it being on a ranch. I thought it was on some road, or maybe that was a werewolf thing. I can't remember. We watched so much.
Well, the one that I talked about was the Beast of Bray Road in that one
Right.
episode. So there's a lot of these types of creatures. There's a Beast of Bray Road. There's the Wendigo.
Wendigo. Yeah, that's the one.
Those are the ones I had videos on. And then this one is Skinwalker,
That's
which is
where I
kind of
heard
similar.
It was your show.
Well, I haven't talked about a skinwalker yet on my show. So between the Beast of Bray Road, the Wendigo, and the Skinwalker are all related really to indigenous Americans, usually.
Yeah, because I think
Because they're the ones that usually have stories about where they come from and stuff.
Yeah, because I think I actually looked up the Wendigo, and I was talking to a coworker about it, and that's where she came up with Skinwalker. And so I was looking up Skinwalker. So no, I do not realize, about Skinwalkers. Okay.
They're weird. It really all started with the Sherman family. So this very famous ranch is said to be one of the most scariest and eeriest places on Earth. People are saying it's weirder than the Bermuda Triangle and even Area 51. This ranch spreads over 500 acres of northern Utah. In fact, this ranch has had rumors about how it's a strange land ever since the early days of the Spanish missionaries. There was a journalist named George Knapp who stated, and I quote, "It's been the site of simply unbelievable paranormal activity, UFOs, Sasquatch, cattle mutilations, psychic manifestations, you name it, residents here have seen it," end quote. All in this 500 acre of land.
Get out. Wow.
The first recorded incident happened back in the 18th century in the year of 1776. Now, there isn't any solid proof like images or videos, obviously, but it was made by a French missionary named Sylvester. Not even going to try to pronounce his last
The cat?
name. But his handwritten account detailed strange fireballs that were seen overhead, which is eerily similar to the accounts that people talk about today. Prior to this account, the land the ranch sits on today once belonged to the Ute tribe, with a Navajo tribe living roughly 400 miles away. These fireballs that they're talking about reminds me of, it's one of my very first videos that I made, and it's about the Hoya Baciu forest.
Oh, yeah.
With Josh Gates. Remember when he saw those little light balls floating?
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of when he describes those fireballs.
Yeah,
on the land.
Because they were in the trees and...
They were in the trees, and then they were like hovering above the trees and then hovering inside the trees, kind of like a campfire was set up. So if you haven't seen that video, check it out. I'll link it here.
That was awesome, especially
it was one of my favorite things.
Cameraman.
It was crazy what happened on that episode. Now, this would end up causing a conflict when the Navajo attempted to move further into the Ute territory, which in turn started a long and violent history. Today, the ranch sits on two Ute reservations called the Uinta and the Arway. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing these names. Not good at pronouncing words. From the earliest account that happened in 1776 up until the Sherman family owned the ranch, it had built up a sinister reputation over the years. So, do you have any thoughts so far? Anything? I don't think you've probably heard of this part of it yet, because I hadn't heard of this part until I started researching it, but is anything coming to mind that you want to say?
It kind of reminds me of when it has to do with the Indian nations. It makes me think of that one ghost town where they put like, I don't know what you call it, like their own blessing on there to protect the land. Type thing, and to like scare out any intruders that were there to hurt the land.
So you're thinking all of this is because maybe there was a curse on the land?
More of a blessing to protect the land that would be a curse to anyone.
From people who weren't part of the Ute Nation?
Right.
That makes sense. Haven't thought of it that way.
Anytime it's Indians, that's exactly what I think when something like that happens. But then again, was it a battlefield? I mean, you said it was...
Those two nations didn't get along.
Those two nations didn't get along.
Now that we have a little bit of a backstory on the land, here are the Sherman family accounts. So let's talk about the Sherman family. They are a farming family. Husband is Terry, wife is Gwen. There's not much more info about them personally that I could find online. I'm sure there are in books. But they did purchase the land in the mid-1990s and turned it into Sherman Ranch before it was known as Skinwalker Ranch. It would be in 1994 when they would start to share their experiences with what had been happening on their ranch. Now, I'm not sure if they started to share this to the public to try to get answers or help. I don't really know how this all came about. It might be because of the cow mutilations. Because I think I remember seeing something, like it was maybe like a news clip of them sharing their cow mutilations because they don't know why it's happening. Like if someone's doing this to them, you know? But that's when it all started coming out, was in 1994. I'm assuming it wasn't a publicity stunt because even after they left, people had had the same experiences as them. So Terry and Gwen Sherman would first start to mention that there were crop circles as well as witnessing unexplained flying objects, which would back up claims locals were having back in the day. The UFO sightings were pretty regular, but that wasn't the only thing they were experiencing on the ranch. On multiple occasions, their cattle would be completely carved up with precise surgical-like precisions, and there would be no blood around the body or in the body. They would be completely drained. It's really weird. How I pictured it is that it was as if someone was taking these cows somewhere, killing them, draining them of their blood, cutting them carefully, and then bringing them back to the ranch to be discovered. Because, I mean, why else would there not be any blood or anything around that area? It's kind of impossible.
Right? Wouldn't you see tracks?
Yeah, true. You would see tracks. So, I mean, you'd think, unless, you know, he's used to driving out in the field a lot. I don't know. But just weird. That's just what it made me think of.
Yeah.
I was like, how else could that be happening?
Someone experimenting on cows and then bringing them back.
It's just the why.
And was that particular cow there the day before, or had it been gone for a couple of days for them to do this procedure and they just didn't notice it gone? Yeah, I mean, a ranch, you usually have so many head, you're not going to notice a couple gone, and then whenever they come back dead or cut up.
It's just the why is what I can't wrap my head around. Why would people be doing this? You know, just doesn't make sense.
Black gold in their heels. Scare them off. Buy it cheap.
I think this was the first story I ever heard about Skinwalker Ranch and why I became so intrigued because of the cow mutilations. So I heard that a long time ago. I think we even talked about it in school.
Wow.
I don't know if like a student brought it up or if it was relative to some sort of lesson. Pretty sure I remember hearing about this in school for some reason, but you know.
But they're not going to tell you about the Skinwalker part.
Well, it was called Skinwalker Ranch when I heard about it.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, this happened in '94. I was in high school in the 2000s, so it was already known as Skinwalker Ranch by then. Now, as if the animal mutilations weren't enough, the Sherman family would also report strange animals that would be seen on their ranch. This is the weird part. Now, Utah is full of wildlife that some people aren't used to seeing on a daily basis. Right. But the Shermans are farmers, right? Which means they can usually determine what animal they are looking at. Most farmers know all kinds of animals that are in and around the areas. I know the farmers around here know more about the animals that are around us than I do, that's for sure. But the Shermans couldn't really explain what type of animal kept visiting their property. So one day, Terry was out doing chores when they were startled by what looked like to be a wolf or coyote stalking their livestock pen. This thing would grab one of its calves using its big jaws. Terry would grab his handgun and shot the creature, but it didn't react. So he would grab his rifle and shot it some more. But despite being hit, the creature didn't seem to be hurt. Instead, it just wandered away into the bushes like like nothing.
Oh my.
Isn't that weird?
Ew.
I love this story
That's
so
one
much.
of those you gotta get close enough to chop their head off. And
Oh
kill
my
it.
word. I couldn't.
Ew.
They described it as having a very foul stench, like rotting flesh. Okay, this is interesting to me. So what does this make you think of?
Almost like a werewolf with rotting flesh.
To me, it makes me think of a cryptoid, which is similar to Bigfoot, Wendigo, Beast of Bray Road,
Okay.
which in my opinion could very well be a spirit
Okay.
because those things have never been found physically. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
So, am I crazy to assume that? Because it wasn't phased by bullets. It's like a big dog.
Right.
And he shot it, I don't know how many times. He shot it with his gun, however many times he could, and then his shotgun. And it just walked away like nothing.
At least 6, but
That's...
Yeah.
One should scare it away.
yeah, the noise should scare it away.
But
alone.
it wouldn't let go of the calf until finally it said fine and just walked off.
Yeah, no limp or nothing.
Nothing. Just
Okay.
casually walked into a bush. Like nothing ever happened to it.
Is he sure he hit it?
Yeah,
he need
he
glasses?
was close enough. I didn't put it in here, but I remember watching some stuff about it a long time ago, and they were talking about how he was really close to it. Like it wasn't scared of him.
Mm-hmm.
He was close to it to shoot. He wasn't gonna miss.
And it didn't turn on him either. Which is strange. Mm-hmm. You're shooting me, but I'm not going to turn on you to stop you from shooting me.
Just weird. Now, I believe that wasn't the last time they saw that creature or similar creatures like it. I'm pretty sure I watched a YouTube video on this a long time ago, and I think it was Stephanie Harlow. She's a really good true crime YouTuber. She dives deep into everything she does. So she's really good. She was talking about how they saw this thing many times, and one time it came up to one of their cars as they were either leaving home or coming back home. It simply walked up by the car. It was big, like
Massive.
as tall as the car, big. They said it could only be described as some type of wolf, but it was instead 3 times the size of an average wolf.
Oh my.
Massive, and it just walked up by the car.
I mean, a wolf can kill your dog, no problem.
Yeah.
I mean, they're huge.
Yeah, but
be
I mean,
3
this
times
was
that
3
size.
times the size of a wolf.
So
Sounds
you're not
horrifying.
you're not talking about it being on its hind legs. You're talking
No.
about its back.
Walking on all 4 legs. This thing was huge.
Were they in a Prius?
This was the 1990s. I don't think Priuses were invented yet. Oh my word.
Toyota Corolla?
No.
They're on a ranch, right? So, I mean, usually your vehicle will be able to...
Usually they'd have big vehicles when
Have
you're a
a
rancher.
truck
You'd
or-
at
yeah,
least
but they're
have a
saying
big truck or like an
they're saying a
SUV.
car.
Well, I don't know what type of car it was. I just know that it was big.
Right, probably a Ford LTD.
Honestly, if I saw that thing walking around outside, I would be terrified to have my kids go outside, my animals go outside. I'd be
She
scared.
bring all of her cows in.
Barn.
Penelope.
Yeah, my house isn't
I
big
used to
enough for
have
that.
I used to have a cow named Brownie, and she had a baby. I named it Penelope. It followed me around like a little dog. It was great.
That's interesting. Never heard of that story before.
Yeah.
I don't think I could have a pet cow. No, I'm a meat eater.
Well, I am too, but I wasn't gonna sell her.
I mean, honestly, could you imagine seeing that thing walking outside your house, walking by your car in the middle of the day?
Yeah. No wonder a bullet didn't do it.
But
Did you
6
hit any
or
vital
however many.
organs? Otherwise, I mean,
A shotgun?
yeah,
A shotgun. He shot it with a shotgun many times. It should have affected it.
yeah, should have.
Nope, not for me. This is why I'm not a farmer.
Well, you're not breeding them.
No, but I'd be scared of what I could come across. It was honestly soon after this incident they decided to sell the ranch. So let's talk about the owners now. It was a newspaper article about the Shermans' experience that would attract a billionaire property magnate named Robert Bigelow. He is known to be a hard-headed businessman who has a passion for space travel and the paranormal. He's a founder of the National Institute for Discovery Science, also known as the NIDS, which was effectively his own personal X-Files team. Robert would end up purchasing the ranch from the Sherman family.
Cheap.
Probably cheap. I don't know. He probably said, here, I'm going to give you a good offer.
I want it. I want to experiment.
Honestly, be on an X-Files team, watching the X-Files show. I don't know if I'd like to do that or not. Have you ever watched the X-Files show?
No.
Really?
Yeah, it's aliens and stuff, right?
It's like anything that's unexplained.
Oh, I always thought it was aliens. Every time I watched an
It is.
episode, it was
It's
aliens.
mainly based about aliens, but they do some other stuff too. We haven't watched the whole thing.
I'm more in paranormal stuff.
But it's interesting show. So Robert's team would soon set up monitoring equipment as well as observation posts and round-the-clock surveillance. And because they were doing all this, it would trigger conspiracy theorists among the UFO watchers, which would kind of force Robert to give an interview denying that he was working with the CIA or had any prior contact with aliens in Utah, which I thought was kind of funny.
Tell him, what are you doing on my property? Get out. I own it now.
I thought that was pretty
I don't
funny.
have to answer to you. Well, if he was working for the CIA, he doesn't have to admit it. Come on. He could be undercover.
But if he was working with the CIA, he probably wouldn't have came out for an interview. Because you know how people in Area 51, they don't come out for interviews for nothing. So...
Is there an Area 51?
Yes, there is. That has been established.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Good. Okay, so any thoughts? Because I'm about to jump into the theories.
No, I mean, I still think it has something to do with the Indians. In Utah, there's some of this is going to be desert, isn't it?
Yes, there is a lot of desert.
Okay, and there's a lot of stuff seen over the desert that's unexplained. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it could be a combination of...
It's just this small spot is home to so many weird things that's happening. Anything and everything that you can imagine that is unexplained has happened on this small 5-acre land.
500 acre?
500 acre land, yes.
But, yeah, again...
Which is weird.
And to me, I thought, when I looked up Skinwalker after... speaking with Donna. Hey, Donna. She was saying it had to do with Indian belief, like a witch doctor coming back to life, things like that. Was more of a skinwalker type thing. So I think something else was that they come back as like a wolf type being or
well, a
whatever.
skinwalker is someone who can turn into an animal. It's someone who's alive and can turn into an animal at will. Okay, so now let's get into the theories. So as you can imagine, there are a ton of theories as to why so many weird things are happening. The very name Skinwalker Ranch points us to the Navajo culture and history. Skinwalkers are known to be malevolent witches who mastered the ability of changing into different creatures. The wolf-like beasts that the Shermans witnessed, which seemed to resemble the very large and also extinct dire wolf that used to roam in North America, as well as other creatures seen by NIDS observers, have been linked to the legends of skinwalkers in the region. It's my understanding that they're not dead or didn't die and come back as these animals. They can change into certain animals and do whatever they want.
So are the Navajos still there?
Well, I don't know. Could be. There is a famous legend that links the skinwalkers to hostile relations between two Native American peoples, the Navajo and the Utes, which we talked about in the beginning. Okay.
I'm sorry. Every time you say Utes,
It's U-T-E, and then U-T-E-S.
Yeah,
So
but
I'm
I
hoping
keep
I'm saying that right.
thinking of my cousin Vinny.
The movie?
Utes. Ute? What's a Ute?
Oh.
Youths.
Did you say Utes?
Yeah, 2 Utes.
What is a Ute?
Oh, excuse me, Your Honor. 2 youths.
No disrespect.
No.
Just making a comment about
An older movie.
one of my favorite movies.
It is a good movie. The historian Sandra Jones, who was the author of Being and Becoming Ute, would go to say, the Navajo were more aggressive people. They took slaves. They had Ute slaves. End quote. And according to the local legend in that area, the territorial dispute led the Navajo to curse the land and unleash skinwalkers there. However, these legends are hazy. Betsy Capoose, hope I'm saying that right, who is a cultural rights and protections director for the Ute tribe, would go to say that the tales may have evolved over generations, but emphasized that she personally never heard of any Navajo curse being placed on the land. But of course, there's really no way to be sure. I truly and fully believe in curses. I believe they are very real and very dangerous. Couldn't the Navajo tribe have placed a curse on the land and the Ute tribe just never heard about it? Or is that, are curses the type of thing that they make known
So you have a spokesperson there for the Utes.
And they said they've never heard of a curse that the
Okay,
Navajo
and some
could
of
have
them
put
were
on
slaves. So wouldn't they know if there was a curse? But then again, two different nations, probably two different languages. How would they know if they didn't understand the language?
them. I mean, I think it's very possible that they could have put a curse on the land. Wouldn't it have cursed all of the Ute land instead of just those 500 acres? Unless that's where they were all living at the time. Just kind of weird that it would just stay in one spot instead of follow the peoples. You know what I mean?
Right. But for Utes to still be there with the Navajos, I mean,
I don't know where the Navajos are. I don't
Yeah,
know if they're
so-
still around that area or if they moved somewhere else.
why
I
would
don't
they
know.
leave it if they cursed it? I mean, if they wanted to keep it to themselves, I could see them cursing anyone else there. But why would you leave it unless you were forced out? But then the Utes are still there. So who freed the Utes? It just doesn't make any sense to me why one Indian nation's still there and the other one not.
There is a more popular theory, which it doesn't really make sense to me, is maybe the paranormal activity is because of government experiments. Everyone's got to go to the government. But honestly, that wouldn't make sense because people have been explaining this stuff since before the government. That's known to be experimenting on people and things around here.
Right.
So it doesn't really make sense to me. Not saying they hadn't later on once they heard about this place, you know, but I don't really think that's what's the cause of what's going on. That's just my opinion, though. And here is something that I hadn't heard of yet until looking into this. There's supposedly a thing happening at the ranch called the hitchhiker phenomenon. That is when people who had to go to the ranch have had something happen to them at the ranch, then it happens to them when they go home. There was an interview by Dr. Travis Taylor who would go to say, and I quote, "We don't like to talk about the hitchhiker too much because everybody's afraid it's going to trigger it or something. I have several colleagues that were putting instruments out to measure things at their house as well as at the ranch. And we're measuring simultaneous events occurring at both places that may be 1,000 miles apart. It just happened to me, my brand new car. So it just shuts off suddenly. All the lights start blinking on and off and crazy, which we've seen happen at the ranch. And something was going on at the same time at the ranch." End quote.
So something followed them home.
Then there was a man named Fugel, who is a prominent businessman and real estate developer in Utah. And he would go to say, and I quote, "It's a known fact that numerous participants, including military operatives, refuse to even set foot on the property again due to the negative experiences that they have had, including phenomena following them home. Even Mr. Bigelow, the owner, has had experiences that have followed him, resulting in his refusal to ever visit the property again." So you know what that tells me? I will never be visiting this ranch.
That's like really weird because it's like, what if there was a earthquake at the ranch, all of a sudden your house gets sunk into a sinkhole? I mean,
Don't jinx them.
you know?
That hasn't happened yet, but it doesn't
I
mean it
mean-
won't.
Yeah, I mean that is so weird.
Was I able to tell you some stuff that you'd never heard of?
Yes.
What do you think? What's your opinion? You like it? Is it a weird story?
Well, if it was just paranormal, I wouldn't mind going to visit it. But then again, you don't want anything coming home. You have to put your foot down. You're dealing with what powers that they have. They understand the earth. They understood so much more than we ever did. They were in with their spirits and believed in that stuff. And like you said, I mean, basically, you speak something out of your mouth, it can definitely happen. So you don't ever want to say what else could happen today, you know, because something else is going to happen. So to me, that's the same thing as putting a little curse on yourself, just speaking those words. You say this day is going to get better, and it starts getting better. And then the wolf thing, no thank you.
Well, it never seemed, what's weird is it never seemed to attack the people that I know of.
Right.
And people that are still there at the NIDS, they have seen these animals, and sometimes they'll see them and then they'll hear these loud roars, but they don't seem to be attacking anyone.
Right, a person.
So it's kind of like they're just watching, which is really creepy to me, to think that you're sitting there doing something and then there's stuff in the trees that you can't see that's just sitting there watching you and learning about you and figuring you out, and it's just I don't like that.
Right,
I don't like
especially
it.
you could have something run at you from the trees or something, and it's like, you knew a bullet didn't stop it last time.
What else would stop? Yeah, a
Like
sword, a spear. I don't even
Yeah.
think those would.
Machete, chop the head off.
Machete.
Chop the head off.
Now that you know that it's the Navajo instead of the Ute, the Navajos were the ones that really had the skinwalkers, is my understanding. So has your theory changed on what you think it is? Do you think it's a curse? Or do you think it's just one of those weird spots on the earth that just has weird activity? Or do you have your own opinion?
I believe that there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the universe. I mean, even with magnets and stuff, there could be some sort of level underground that is magnetic that's causing certain things to happen.
They have had problems with electronics.
Oh yeah, the car. Things like that can actually
Attract.
cause people to get sick, hallucinate, all sorts of stuff. Because we have electric in our body, and I mean,
Yeah,
it
but
could all
everyone's seeing the
affect it.
same stuff.
Right, they're all seeing the same stuff at the same time, but I'm saying like the curse type thing basically would have like more of an impact on an area like that, and could probably cause some of the Navajos to be sick to where I don't know.
You mean the Utes?
No, Navajos were the ones that were
Oh, to be sick.
to be more angry, more hostile type.
Well, the Navajo
More
weren't really
feared.
living on that land. I mean, they traveled close to that land, so they probably wanted it, but I don't think they ever really lived on that land. I think the Utes always lived there.
I thought you said that they were like
The
battling
Navajo-
for the land.
No, the Navajo lived 400 miles away originally, is what I said in the beginning.
That's
from
why
that
I need
area.
my phone.
Like they would move, like they were too close. So if they moved, they would get close to the Utes. You know, the Utes didn't like that because the Navajo were vicious. They were not very nice.
And
That's
they
what
were
it
taking
says.
slaves.
Yeah, they were taking Utes as slaves. But the skinwalkers are only known in the Navajo culture. I could see it being a curse, but I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird to me. It doesn't make sense. I get the whole magnetic field thing because that is more powerful in other parts of the world and it could affect things, but I also think it does attract things as well.
Right.
So it could be so powerful there that it's attracting all these kinds of spirits, if that's what you want to call them. Depends on what you believe, I guess. That is just thriving in this area. Did you have anything else you want to say before we close it?
No, I mean that was fascinating. It's definitely
weird.
a mystery.
Not one we can solve.
No.
We can try, but we're not that good.
Yeah, I'm not too into the aliens thing. I mean, I've seen
I'm
like
not
some,
really either.
I saw like recently on something from Jack Osborne and the Ghost Brothers episode where there was supposedly a saucer going around a helicopter. This guy said apparently people have been posting this stuff since like 2001 to 2017, and his was in 2018. I think that was the same story, but it was like a little saucer and it was just zipping around a helicopter, and it's like, wow, that to me would be more, something that I could visually see. But it seems to me like it's paranormal with a curse from an Indian nation, and like I said, they believed in the wind, they believed the dirt,
Everything
they
had a
believed everything
spirit.
had a spirit. And
Yeah, it's
So-
very true. And they could conjure up whatever they wanted, it seemed like. Some Indigenous Americans believe that, like what I was saying, creatures like the Beast of Bray Road and Wendigo and even Bigfoot, some people aren't gonna like that, but that they're all spirits that were conjured up at one point. I don't know. It's all weird stuff where we never understand and probably will never understand. So,
Yeah, I mean,
just
I would have been
fun
looking
to
for
talk about,
blood,
though.
and get a hunting party out, look for blood or something. Was there any blood after the
I wouldn't try to hunt that
gunshot?
thing. I want to say that he could see it piercing him, but I can't say if there was any blood. I don't know if there was any
Right.
blood.
It's just weird. With a shotgun, you think hair or something would have fallen to the ground that you could take in for DNA.
I don't know.
Weird.
That's going to be it for us today. I hope you enjoyed our episode 3 of Mysteries with My Mom. We look forward to the next one. If you want us to do more of these videos, let me know, because right now I'm just having it done once a month because these videos are longer, so they take longer for me to edit. But just let me know what you guys want. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell. It does help out my channel. Or if you're listening on my podcast, be sure to leave me a review. If not, we're just happy you guys are here watching and listening.
Share, share, share.
But we hope you guys have a very blessed week, and we will see you all later. Bye.
Bye.
We got it.
Woot, woot. You said I didn't want my glasses, but I want people to think I'm smart. I have my glasses, even though I don't need them.
Talk louder. If you want stuff in the bloopers, you're going to have to talk louder than that.
You said I don't need my glasses.
Because you don't need to take
that.
notes.
I'll take that as a compliment.
You don't need to take notes because, 1, you've already heard this story. And 2, it's not necessarily, I mean, it's an unsolved mystery, but it's not one of those unsolved mysteries that we can solve.
But you still haven't told me what it's about. So how do I know if I've seen it or heard about it?
I
or
know
not?
you have because we've
watched it
started
from
watching something on it, but we just never finished.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm going to get my cup down out of the way because it's not like we're advertising for Sam's Club. But if Sam's Club wants to send us money for that mention, they can.
It don't work that way. I like the monitor right there. That way I can see right there instead of...
You keep looking at me for in the monitor.
No, there's the record button right above your head. So I can see if it stops recording.
You know, I never noticed that before. Maybe I do need my glasses. Oh, Skinwalker, it's your cat.
I know. She's meowing. I'm sorry if you can hear my cat.
I'm hungry. Give me that cat.
She has plenty of food.
Yeah, she does.
She does not need to worry about nothing. I think she's just bored. He is known to be a hard-headed businessman who has a passion for space travel and the paranormal. Sounds like Elon Musk. I'm just kidding. I'm not getting into that. Okay. Oh, I'll let you get a drink because I want a drink.
I grab my cup first and you say you're going to let me get a drink because you're going to get a drink. I grab mine first.
I
was getting a drink first.
I was meaning, since you're going to get a drink, I will get a drink. Oh my goodness. Again, so many bloopers on this video.
This is thirsty work.
It is when you sit here for an hour talking.
Uh-oh. Calamurdos. He's behind the door. Momo. Momo.
You stop.